Welcome to Guitar Vacation. This video is for players that are using the position 1 minor pentatonic scale as the primary scale for them to solo and improvise and do single note stuff. It's mainly to introduce a couple ideas for those that want to start expanding beyond just that pentatonic box. We're going to talk about a couple things that will be good first steps in doing that, but they also won't take you too far from what you're already doing using the position 1 pentatonic scale. So I'm hoping that they'll be quickly applicable to what you're doing if you're familiar with position 1 pentatonic, and you can start working these ideas in your playing fairly quickly. So let's take a look at them and check them out. Regarding the pentatonic scale, we're going to talk about using it in a easy guitar key. We're going to play it in A, and I'm not necessarily thinking about right now playing over any kind of major or minor chord colors. Just let's think of it as kind of a power chord. And you have your position 1 pentatonic in A kind of anchored on the 5th fret. Very exciting. If you're using that as your primary platform to play solos and stuff, you know, you're starting to do your flourishes and bends and making it musical, right? So and that's great. There's actually many great guitar solos have been made using the pentatonic scale. And there's a lot of good guitar players that primarily use the pentatonic scale when they solo and don't go much beyond that. The first thing we're going to talk about is closely related to the A pentatonic, and really if you're playing that A pentatonic scale, it's a minor scale. It's got the flat 3rd and the flat 7, which if that's beyond the scope of what you're looking into, don't worry about it right now. But for those reasons, it is a minor scale. So if you add 2 notes to the pentatonic scale, you are playing the Dorian mode. And that's really the only difference between pentatonic and Dorian is those 2 notes. And the Dorian mode, I'm going to show it with a 3 note per string pattern. That's probably a good place to start as far as being able to use these scales and modes to cover more ground on the fretboard. But the Dorian in A is going to go like this. You start low E string on the 5th fret, just like the pentatonic. You go a whole step up to B, and then C. So A is 5th fret, low E string, whole step, half step. Then go up to the A string, start again with the 5th fret, and we're going to do 2 whole steps. 5th fret, whole step, whole step. On the D string, we're going to do the exact same thing we did on the A string. 5th fret, whole step, whole step. G string, same thing. 5th fret, whole step, whole step. So right now we've got Now as you transition to the B string, you're going to kind of anchor your index finger on the 7th fret and play that note. Go up a half step, then a whole step. And then on the E string, you're going to play the exact same pattern as you did on the B string. 7th fret, half step, whole step. And that's a good way to play the Dorian. And you'll notice I particularly think that's relatable to the first position pentatonic because you're kind of in the same position. So let's say you're playing your pentatonic licks. You can transition right into the Dorian, and you still feel like you haven't, if pentatonic is your home, you haven't traveled far from home. All right, so that's adding Dorian, and we haven't even really had to shift too much out of the comfort zone of the basic pentatonic scale. Now we're going to talk about the relative major scale, and Dorian is the second mode of the major scale. And again, if we're talking beyond stuff that you really are wanting to concentrate on right now, then that's fine. I'm trying to include enough without slamming you with too much if you're not familiar with this stuff. But I say that to say that the A Dorian has the same notes as the G major scale, which is a whole step down from where you would play A pentatonic or A Dorian. So you're going to play G major a whole step down. And the major scale, in this case the G major scale, again using the 3-note per string pattern, is like this. You're going to start on the low E string on the 3rd fret and play 2 whole steps. A string, 3rd fret, 2 whole steps. Now we're going to, as we transition to the D string, anchor your index finger to the 4th fret, play that note, go up a half step, and then a whole step. On the G string, you're going to do the exact same thing you did on the D string. Anchor your index finger on that 4th fret, play that note, half step, whole step. And then, as we transition to the B string, index finger on the 5th fret, play that note, whole step, half step. Then on the E string, same thing, 5th fret, whole step, half step. And if you notice, as we're ending that particular run of the major scale, we're kind of overlapping what we were doing with pentatonic and Dorian, because they are the same notes. point being that if I'm playing my good old pentatonic bluesy sounding stuff in A, I can throw in some Dorian. And shift right into that major scale, a full step down in G major. So if A pentatonic is our home, we now have two scales that are close to home, one being only 2 notes away from the pentatonic you're already playing, which is Dorian, and the other being the major scale, which a lot of people already know anyway. And you can shift between the three with relative ease. So conceptually, if you're thinking about it, you throw Dorian in with pentatonic and you're not having to change your position a whole lot, especially if you're used to sliding into notes in the pentatonic scale. And then you can slide into that G major. And this works in any key. So just for a very quick example, if we're playing E, doing our cool blues pentatonic licks in E pentatonic, like I said, it's a minor pentatonic in this instance. And I'm going to throw Dorian in. And I have flowed into the D major scale a whole step below E. So they all flow together, and they're all relatively close to pentatonic. So if you're good with the pentatonic, these first two steps are not far out there. You are going to hopefully eventually learn all 7 modes. So the major scale is the first mode. The Dorian is the second mode, and then basically all the you can start on each note of the major scale as a starting point, and it's a different mode. That's why there's 7, because there's 7 notes. All right, that's where you want to be eventually. But if you're just trying to say, hey, I'm getting tired of playing in the same old blues box, Dorian and major scale a whole step below where you would be playing your pentatonic is a good place to start. I made a kind of cheesy backing track just using some power chord stuff. Like I said, I didn't want to complicate this particular discussion with coloring the chords as major and minor, and because that may be beyond the scope of what we're trying to do, taking our first steps out of the position 1 pentatonic. but it's a power chord type thing in A, and I'll just play over it using these three scales we're using: A pentatonic, A Dorian, and G major. So let's take a listen. That was just a quick solo using the things we talked about, all kind of flowing between the three and how they can work together and be relatively close to home if you're using A minor pentatonic as your home base, so to speak. If anybody wants the backing track, I'll be glad to post it. Just hit me in the comments. It's kind of a cheesy little power chord backing track, but if you want to practice improvising in A, it'll definitely help you with that. Until the next time, happy guitar vacation to you all, and you enjoy your guitar vacation. Catch you later.